When your dog sleeps pressed against you, do you actually know what they're trying to say? Yes, it feels warm and sweet, but behind that closeness, there's something deeper that most owners completely miss. It's one of the most emotionally loaded things your dog can do, and if you misunderstand it, which most owners do, you could be missing messages they've been trying to send for years. Here are 7 things that sleeping pressed against you is really telling you. 1. It was never about staying warm. So why does your dog actually sleep pressed against you? Most people assume it's simple. Dogs get cold, you're warm, end of story. But here's the thing, dogs are incredibly resourceful when it comes to finding heat. Sunny spots on the floor, the corner behind the couch, the pile of laundry fresh from the dryer. If warmth was all they wanted, they have options. So why do they keep choosing you? Because sleep is when a dog is at their most defenseless. Every instinct they have tells them to find somewhere safe, somewhere hidden, somewhere a threat could never reach them. And instead, they walk past every quiet corner in your home and press themselves against a human many times their size. That's not about temperature. That's trust on a level most owners never fully realize. A study published in Applied Animal Behavior Science found that dogs form secure attachment bonds with their owners that closely mirror the bonds human infants form with their caregivers. When your dog chooses to sleep pressed against you, they're telling you something they can't say out loud. You make me feel safe enough to let my guard down completely. Does your dog sleep pressed against you every night? Tell us in the comments, where's their favourite spot? 2. They're doing something ancient with your scent. Have you ever noticed your dog pressing their nose into your skin or nuzzling into your neck right before they settle into sleep? That's not random affection, it's chemistry. Dogs have scent glands along their cheeks, forehead, and the base of their tail. When they press against you, they're leaving invisible markers behind. But here's what most people don't realize. When your dog sleeps pressed against you night after night, they're not just seeking your scent, they're blending it with theirs. In the wild, dogs who live and travel together develop a shared communal scent. It's how they recognize family. It's how they signal safety without making a sound. When your dog weaves their smell into yours every single night, they're performing something ancient and deliberate. They're telling the world, and themselves, that you belong to each other. This is also why your dog might sniff you intensely when you come home smelling like somewhere new. You've lost some of that shared scent, and part of that evening pressed close against you is them quietly restoring what went missing. 3. They think they're keeping you safe. Ever wonder why your dog always chooses the same spot when they sleep beside you? Maybe it's right against your back, maybe it's near your feet, maybe it's wedged between you and the edge of the bed. That placement isn't random, it's strategic. Here's something that might surprise you. Even the most pampered, well-loved house dog still carries the instincts of a guardian. And guardians understand positioning. When your dog presses against you at night, part of them believes they are standing watch. This goes back thousands of years. Dogs who lived alongside early humans didn't just provide companionship, they kept watch, they warned of danger, they placed themselves between their people and the unknown. Your dog hasn't forgotten that role. Watch where they position themselves. If they sleep facing the door, they're watching the entry point. If they press against your back, they're covering the angle you can't see. They know they're smaller than most threats, they don't care. Something deep in their wiring says this human is mine to protect. Will your dog actually fight off an intruder? Probably not. But in their mind, they've taken a post, they've assigned themselves a duty, and every single night, without being asked, they show up for it. If this is making you see your dog's sleeping habits differently, hit like, it helps more dog owners find this. 4. Every sleep position is a message. Does your dog curl into a tight ball against you, sprawl out with their back pressed to yours, lay their head across your legs? Each of these positions is telling you something different. The tight curl is the most protective position a dog can take. It shields the belly, tucks the paws, keeps every vital area hidden. If your dog always sleeps curled up tight even while pressed against you, they feel safe enough to be close, but they haven't fully released the instinct to stay guarded. It's trust with a layer of caution still underneath. The full sprawl is the opposite. Legs stretched, belly sometimes exposed, body completely loose and heavy. This is a dog who has let go of every survival instinct, telling them to stay ready. They believe completely that nothing bad will reach them here. That level of peace is something they only feel in very specific places with very specific people. When they press their back against you, some owners take this personally. Don't. In dog language, turning your back to someone means you trust them so completely that you don't need to watch them. It's not rejection, it's the highest form of confidence in your presence. And then there's the full contact press. The dog who wedges themselves as close as physically possible, sometimes in spaces that make no logical sense. That's not clinginess, that's devotion. They want zero distance between you, and they'll rearrange themselves a dozen times throughout the night just to maintain it. Which position does your dog sleep in? The tight curl, the full sprawl, or pressed right against you? Drop it in the comments, we'd love to know. 5. They've rewritten their biology for you. Have you ever noticed that your dog seems to wind down when you go to bed and wake up when you do? That's not a coincidence. It's a choice they made, and it cost them something. Dogs are naturally crepuscular. That means their bodies are wired to be most active at dawn and dusk, the hours when their wild ancestors hunted and when instincts tell them to be alert, not asleep. By nature, a dog's internal clock should not line up with a human schedule at all. But something remarkable happens with dogs who are deeply bonded to their owners. They override their own biology. Researchers studying the sleep patterns of domestic dogs found that dogs living closely with humans gradually shift their cycles to mirror their owners. They stay calmer during the day, they sleep more deeply at night. Not because it's natural for them, but because that's when you're available. Think about what that means for a moment. Your dog's entire internal rhythm, shaped over thousands of years of evolution, gets quietly rewritten just so they can spend more time existing alongside you. That's not instinct, that's devotion. 6. They feel your emotional state before you do. Ever had a hard day and noticed your dog pressing closer than usual that night? Staying glued to your side in a way that felt almost deliberate? That's not coincidence. They knew something was off before you said a word. Dogs who are bonded to their owners are extraordinarily tuned into subtle shifts in human behavior, body chemistry, and energy. When you're stressed or anxious, your cortisol levels rise, your movements change, your breathing shifts in ways you don't consciously notice. Your dog picks up on all of it. Sleeping pressed against you gives them a front row position to your emotional baseline. Night after night, they learn what your normal feels like, your resting heart rate, the rhythm of your breathing when you're peaceful, the tension in your body when something is wrong, and when something shifts, they notice before you've even processed it yourself. This is why so many dog owners report their dog becoming extra attentive during periods of grief, illness, or emotional difficulty. They're not just being sweet, they're responding to real signals you're sending without realizing it. And pressing close at night is how they say, without words, I'm here, I've got you. Has your dog ever seemed to sense you were having a hard time before you even said anything? If that's happened to you, share it in the comments. These stories always hit different. 7. When they suddenly stop, pay attention. If your dog has been sleeping beside you consistently and that suddenly changes, don't ignore it. Dogs are creatures of habit more than most people realize. When they break a pattern this significant, they're communicating something real. Sometimes the reason is physical. Discomfort, joint pain, or illness can make a dog seek out cooler surfaces or more space. Dogs instinctively hide vulnerability, and pulling away from closeness is one of the quietest ways they do it. If your older dog suddenly prefers sleeping alone, a conversation with your vet is worth having. Sometimes it's environmental, a new pet in the home, a change in your schedule, a shift in the energy of a space they once felt safe in. Something that seems small to you can feel significant to a dog whose entire sense of security is built around routine and familiarity. And sometimes it's emotional. If something frightening happened in that space, if a conflict occurred, if trust was disrupted in some way, a dog will pull back to protect themselves. Not out of stubbornness, out of self-preservation. The key is to pay attention. Your dog chose to sleep pressed against you because you were their safest place. If that changes, they're not being difficult, they're telling you something. So listen, watch, and if needed, gently rebuild the feeling that made them choose you in the first place. Because that nightly ritual of a warm body pressed close in the dark, it was never small to them. And now that you understand what it really means, it doesn't have to be small to you either. If this video changed the way you see those quiet moments with your dog, subscribe to Barkley. There's so much more to understand about the dog sleeping right next to you.